All right, so we got who we got. All right, this is kind of it's kind of a weird thing because they were focused on the map stream or the map when the fight was going down. So we've only got this little tiny thing happening, but it's fine. It's all good. So we got some cool things. Regnum is in this view, in this building. And you can just kind of see, it's kind of what we were talking about, right, Max, with the last one, these angles. You've got one here, and then if we switch that around, you've also got these two right here as well. So you've got this kind of prong situation going on one corner of the house, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of a situation where if you're Regnum, you're kind of screwed. I mean, to be honest, it makes sense because this is a very hot commodity in a circle like this. You've got two compounds south of Everest that are one high ground, right next to a field, which in terms of information gathering is massive, and also it's just across the road. So if you want to get breached, it's not the easiest unless you have Niptura third parties, which we're going to see. We might have a few of those happening here.
Maybe 1 or 2 or 15, who knows?
Or yes, maybe the whole lobby.
Yeah, it was so weird. All right, so we just see this, and it's just kind of, I want to talk quickly about kind of the angles you've got here, because you've isolated the team, right? You've isolated Regnum by coming in through the door here, but also from behind here. You've got you've got 3 players of Regnum, 1 here and then 2 over here, but you've isolated them, and this is kind of where you get really tricky, because this could easily, if this goes wrong, be seen as they've sandwiched themselves between 2 factions of the same team, right? With A7 coming in the middle of them. But I think the difference here is the confidence, the teamwork. So the teamwork, even though they are technically sandwiched, they're strong enough where they will be able to handle both and isolate one from the other and deal with them in time. So you could very, very easily huck a couple of nades in their direction or a smoke or 2, make them not come forward, get rid of this guy, and then turn your attention, right? So there's a lot of like little nuance things coming in there.
I think I remember what I was saying during that game. I don't know if you remember, Nep, but I kept screaming to everyone, "Use Molotovs! It's a wooden floor!
Yeah.
Oh my god, you idiots!" Maybe I was a bit brutal. I'm pretty brutal if I'm on camera, but yeah, Molotovs here, especially, so if you're Alpha 7 here, for example, you can see on the POV, this is a very important aspect of breaching buildings that have this kind of layout and that have wooden floors. If you have a molly, before breaching, you chuck it onto where wild is. Of course, because its wooden floor is going to spread. Guess what? That entire angle on your left side, not playable. Not playable. So all you have to do is focus on the right side. And guess what? If you have a DBS and you only have one hallway to shoot through, that's an easy bullet to connect. So, like, I think Alpha 7 could have perfected that breach by just chucking a molly on the right, on the left, to just reduce the amount of options for enemies to abuse against a breach. So, like, that's just how I would make it better for Alpha 7. But here they just are like, screw it, we got DBS, so we'll just kill you anyways.
Exactly. Another point you bring up, though, as well is, oh no, we want that back, is if we actually look at the 2 hallways, and this might be going slightly too big brain in terms of they're not thinking of this in the moment, but it's something they may have researched and then it's ingrained in them to think about a little bit, would be, let's look at the angles here. So we've got this doorway here, and so we're gonna say, you know, kind of talking about which side of the house they want them to come from, right? So you could have enemies coming this way, but it's a lot harder to actually create a narrower point. It's a much wider angle, so they have more chance to move around. There's more leverage for the enemy on that side. If you go with, well, let's make this kind of like blue or something. There we go. It's a longer hallway. So if they're down there, you now have a much more open space to do what you like, because you've got all this area rather than just this bit looking this way, right? So in that sort of way, you're looking at A7 doing a really good job of flushing out, let's get the colors here, flushing out this guy, get rid of him. Now they have this area to use, and so when the other 2 start trying to come in, let's make that up. arrow. Oh, there we go. When they start trying to come in, they've got a much narrower area. So it's kind of like a funnel thing because it's a longer hallway. They have less space and more space horizontally and less space. You know what I mean. They've got less maneuverability going in there. So that's also something to think about. So, just a thought, but...
I agree. I have nothing to add to that, to be honest. Just, you want to try and get access to better positions in buildings as breathing space, because guess what? Hallways are, a lot of the time, going to be a death sentence, because it is just so easy to get knocked in them, especially against 100%. DBS. Like, literally, if you're at the right range, a DBS will hit everyone in the hallway if you're at the perfect range, which I think that right now, if you are Alpha 7, like the player that's a little bit further away and you turn around, you hit that entire wall, plus the player of Regnum. So it's... in the DBS meta, it's always not the best, yes.
DBS meta sucks. DBS confidence, yes, it does equal confidence, that's true. It's a play where A7 waits
actually,
for Scott to believe. Ooh.
I think the DBS meta is going to get better because of the refresh rate of 120 frames per second. I think DBS is going to allow you to hit your shots more accurately because you won't be missing in between frames. So, like, you could hit those. If you're good, though, of course, if you're good, you will be able to track your enemies a lot better with your reticule and hit the shots. So I think that DBS could be indirectly buffed, even though it's getting nerfed in the next update. So it's something to keep an eye out for.
Soib says, hi, Tura. Hello. Tura, one of the OGs. Only the OGs call me Tura. That's just how it is.
Mad Tura. Yeah.
Mad Tura. Yeah. That's it. Okay, let me see. Oh, here we have a little bit of a sort of clear aspect, but not really. Just kind of showing you the angles there. A7 coming in. Oh yeah. Let's just watch this vehicle.
Oh, this. Yeah.
There it goes. That was crazy. But yeah, you can see the angles a lot better here. Really good stuff from them, to be honest. So let's see. You got now this back angle here. You've got angle here, here, and I think he actually came in from the back here. So he was looking... This guy was completely dead. Just not a chance in the whole wide world. And these guys are about to be dead. So it was a really nice angle to actually push in because the compound is small enough where you can actually split up more like a 2-1-1 rather than a 2-2, like we were saying for Regnum, Rejects and Boom. So there's that as well.
Yeah, I do hate these kind of compounds though. Like they are horrible for the simple fact that you cannot protect cars. And cars, when you know you're going to have to potentially shift into a field finish, because I do recall, right, none of these teams end up winning because even if you win the fight, guess what? Your cars are screwed. Yeah. You're going to be super visible making it through the fields and you're just not going to make it. Unless the circle shifts to your location exactly, you're not winning it. So all the teams that were here were like, we're going to take the fight for two reasons. One, to get eliminations, which of course are important. And two, to create space, create a vacuum on our side of the circle, which is what I think Alpha 7 were trying to do is like, okay, this fight's happening. If we clear all of this third party, we can actually end up having the entire northwest of the circle free for us, which I think was the approach and the right thing to do. But again, cars is kind of an issue on a building like this because again, everyone can see it. If they want to pop the wheels, they can do it easily. So it is something to keep in mind. Yeah. There's
also a little bit of foreshadowing going on with right here.
Spooky.
Just that. You'll see that in the next clip. They come into play there. Let's see here. Anything else? Oh, look, I could have just done that. Goodness sake. So yeah, you see them, and they did go up and out there. But, as we will see in the next clip, their victory is not for long. It does not go well, because, oh, look who's joined the party. Freaking Falcons, man.